don't know if I wanted to throw up or like die. Ew. Brush my teeth before I talk some shit. Like these are going AWOL. Like, huh? I'm a hater, apparently. Welcome to the House of Flame and Shadow vlog. Listen, I have been looking forward to this for way too long, and I just finished listening to like 5 hours of plot summary of the first 2 books of this series, and I like considered listening to a summary of Akasif, but I cannot anymore. But I am waiting for it to come up on my Kindle. Let me tell you, I actually did try to find the book in like a local bookstore or a local anything. What I decided was that obviously people in Florida aren't reading books in their grocery store or buying them there. So I didn't find them there. And then today, which is Monday the 29th, I went to Walmart to see if they had it, and they had them, but they wouldn't sell it to me. Just putting out there, if you have not read the entire like mass verse, don't watch this video. You're gonna get spoiled because I'm gonna talk about things like going forward. Like it'll only be spoilers for this book. So I'm going to include everything that comes out in any of the other books in the Sarah J. Maas universe. So with that said, the special edition has a chapter with Bryce, Nesta, and Azriel, and I really wanted that one from Walmart. That's the only reason I got it, and I was so pissed because it gave me like so many mixed messages that I was going to arrive early. Then it was like, no, it's not even moving. Then people were saying that they were canceling the thing and that it was lost, but I got the notification that it is arriving the 31st, but by then I'd already ordered the one on Amazon, so I'm going to be returning the Amazon hard copy. But I did get it on my Kindle because reading on your Kindle is just so much more convenient, if that makes sense, especially because I have this. It's already late at night. I don't know how long I'll make it tonight, but like I'm too excited for this. Like I am flipping out. I don't know, like they released that prologue with the chapter 1, and let me tell you, best marketing move ever, because I felt I needed to have that book in my hands right now after that first chapter, and I'm really hoping it lives up to the hype. I wasn't the biggest fan of House of Sky and Breath because I felt like it was just too messy of a book, and I think that's what's kept me from rereading it. That book just kind of like slumped because like Sarah, my bestie, was trying to do way too much in way too little time. I feel like the hardest thing about today is gonna be the fact that I'm not using any social media until I finish this book, and I feel like this is gonna test the boundaries of my self-control. I'm literally like running out of work. Today was a really long day, really tough, and I'm just excited it's over and excited that I get to face my book. I know that I got one of them, Amazon copy, but I think I'm just gonna read it on my Kindle because it's much more comfortable, and I am beat. Oh my god, I just got home and I have to tell you, I ran up here. I was just like, I could not deal with it anymore. And I just got my copy from the Amazons. This is the Amazon copy. I will be returning this once I get my Walmart copy. But holy fucking shit. This is a big mofo. I'm super excited. I'm actually going to be reading it on Kindle because I don't want to ruin this one since I will be returning it, and I'm going to be transferring my annotations to the Walmart version. So that's that. But like I did buy this because I thought that for a second there the Walmart version was not going to be arriving, but this is big. This is heavy. I'm really excited that I have it on my Kindle actually because honest, it's not as heavy, much or more ergonomic to hold. And also I have to admit, and I'm just like think the first time that I'm admitting it on the internet, that I did kind of spoil the last book to myself by reading the last line. So I think by not having the book, because I'm like definitely the type that like, oh, they're all on a random page, let me skim. No, we can't do that if it's a Kindle. So let's freaking do this. I'm like not even hungry. I don't know if I wanted to throw up or like die. Like I don't even know right now. Cassian will be happy about it. He can live with it. Oh my god, everything is happening. I'm freaking out, honestly. Oh my god. It says I have like 10 hours left in this book. I might finish it today. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading. So I'm reading as I eat dinner. Careful, Azrael. I'm kind of shipping them, okay? That's it. I ship Bryce and Azrael. Feel bad for Hunt. Poor guy. He's like holding on to Bryce like a prayer. There's just something going on between these two that I just can't wrap my head around. And I need to know more. I'm on page 129, by the way. And I've liked it, even though like nothing has happened. So like it's still setting up the plot and everything, even though 16% through the book and I feel like nothing's really happened. Other than like the Hind getting involved, kind of trying to make a plan to save Hunt, Rune especially. Things could start moving a bit faster, but I'm just happy to be back in the world. I'm also happy that it's like not head jumping and POV jumping so much. Like yes it is, but I've only had like 3 or 4 versus the last book that it felt like every single page was a new POV. So it's been a bit slower in that sense. So let's continue reading. There's more than meets the eye here, like a transformer, if I'm being honest. And I'm really looking forward to it. I have a little cider because I feel like this is very medieval, a cider. I'm gonna continue reading. I'm currently on page 132, 16% through the book. I honestly feel like I might finish it in one day. But like, let me hold my horses here. Oh my god, I think I just read like the most disturbing scene in the book. Like, what in the world is that scene where they bite his hand off? I gotta read more. So how she's kind of written this scene and this book, I really like it much better than it was before. Like, she's taking really, really high intense scenes, going into really, really other high intense scenes, but in different ways. So like action scenes versus like exposition scenes that are giving us a lot of information. I think that the editing process of this book was like much more tailored. I do want some little fluffy stuff going on eventually, but I do think that like the scenes in this book are serving a purpose, which I think that in House of Sky and Breath sometimes you would lose that. Like, it seemed like a whole scene was there mostly to tell like one thing versus these scenes that are here for like a lot of things, and I'm really liking it. Right now I'm in the part where Bryce is finding out who Thea is and her story, and then it's juxtaposed with Ethan's fight. If you know, you know. I feel like with every scene of this book I just get more and more shocked. Like, this is gruesome. This isn't just like a book. Like, this book is gruesome. Like, what are these people going through? They're like things are going AWOL. Like, things are happening that I like. Ethan, like, did this really happen? Is this what I'm seeing? The whole hand thing? Whew. I'm like getting hot and everything. I need to make sure the air conditioning's on. As the night goes on, my hair gets crazier and we're kind of just coming back to these like updates. But I am surprised that I am 247 pages in and like I haven't seen Valaris yet. Like, Bryce hasn't seen Valaris yet. I haven't seen Cassian yet. Like, we're still like in like the same, it feels like, you know, same couple days, even though I'm 250 pages in, and I'm like, when are we gonna move us along here, you know? How long has happened? What is time in this world? But also, why is there a stary in the prison? Why is there an asteri in this world? What is going on? Wink, wink, blink, blink. Okay, I keep reading. But yeah, I am surprised. And I guess like questioning myself, questioning my life choices. Does that make sense? Okay, I'll keep reading. Okay, I'm liking it. I think that the plot is more centered. It's more organized, but confused. Also, like, this book is like freaking brutal. Like, in the terms of like everyone's kind of going through it, except Bryce. Surprisingly, like, Bryce is like going through it, but not in the same way that these guys are going through it. Like, they are brutally going through it. Wow, I am surprised that Sarah J. Maas could be so dark. Like, it is dark. What's going on here? What? That's it? What? Huh? I don't know if I like that. I feel like I built it up in my head too much. So I finished part 1 and now I'm on part 2, The Surge. And Bryce is back in Lunathion, Crescent City, and she is like her father's hostage. Everything like ended with like the whole Prithian stuff. I guess like the Akatar universe, like she got what she wanted and now she can leave. But she didn't get, like, she still needs an Esta because she needs like Asterixis or whatever her sword is called. I'm confused. Like, am I not gonna see the Prithian people again? Is the whole Bryce and Azrael thing like not a thing? This is disappointing. Disappointing in my head, disappointing in my heart. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Hunt, if I'm being honest. Is this gonna be the last book of these I read? I don't know. Let's continue. I feel horrible because I just like wasn't looking forward to them meeting again. I like everything else about the plot has excited me except them meeting. Like, their romance is literally, it does not flutter my heartstrings at all at this point. It makes me upset that it doesn't. I feel like it should, but I just like, ugh. I'm in page 362, 44% through the book, and I'm just like surprised at how like meh I am, you know? Like, I'm not motivated. I don't feel it for them, which makes me sad. And I feel like I felt like this in the last book, and I think it was like this, like in the first book they had such great chemistry and they built such a good healthy relationship that it was just like very odd when like they just started like worshiping each other, but like I didn't feel like it was earned, if that makes sense. Maybe I think this is a me thing because a lot of people ship them, a lot of people think like they are the best. I don't know, they just don't have that sizzle for me. And also their like scenes were just so cringy. Like, their sex scenes were so cringy for me in the last book. I think that kind of ruined the magic for me because I was like, so yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I want one of them to die. No, I don't want Bryce to die. I want Hunt to die. I just don't care about him. I want her to end up with Azrael, and I don't think that's gonna happen at this point, which makes me sad. Which which it shouldn't. That's the whole point of this book. Like, it's a romance book. Like, it is a fantasy, but it is a romance book, and I should be rooting for the two main characters to end up together. So it's a bit upsetting that that's not happening, and like I just feel like skipping over their parts because I just don't fucking care, you know? It is what it is. I forgot why I didn't like House of Sky and Breath until I got to the part where they're all together and they're all talking like they're frat bros, and we have Bryce talking to this like freaking ancient ocean queen like she's like a frat bro, and like cursing at her and having absolutely no respect and being absolutely belligerent, and it is so frustrating that she acts her age, you know? She doesn't even act her age. She acts like she's younger than her age because like she acts like she's in high school. I'm upset, but I need to finish this. I don't know if it's today, but I am upset because I was liking the vibe of it when it was in the ACOTAR universe. We were kind of seeing different sides to the same coin, and the whole like dialogue change, and I don't love it, if I'm being honest. I am so tired. I even woke up late, but I did want to kind of update the vlog because I have to go to work. I'm feeling sick as a dog. I have thoughts. And I've been trying to like reconcile them with like what I feel to be true about this book, you know? So let's get to the root of it. I am disappointed. I feel like this is a book that I definitely, and I feel like most people that read it got their hopes up for certain things that they expected to happen. But I don't think like in any world did anyone expect for like I'm at the 444 page chapter 50, halfway through the book. I don't think anyone expected for Bryce to go back so fast, because the whole thing with the last one was like within the first third of the book, she was already back in Lunathion, and like she didn't really do anything in Prythian. And I feel like no one really kind of guessed that, because if we really think about it, like the whole thing of how she ends the last book is like, I don't know how I'm gonna get back, and like she's back within 5 days. Like what? I think that was super anticlimactic, and then that kind of like ruined the mood for me, because like obviously I didn't think that there was gonna be scenes like where the whole like let's go dancing to a club together. I didn't think that, but I didn't also think that like it would just be like an adventure between like Bryce, Nesta, and Azriel, and like that's it, and like we don't see them again. Maybe they come back. Maybe she goes back to Prythian. Or I feel like she can just like bounce between the worlds so easily. And then also like I've been trying to dissect why I don't like Hunt and Bryce, and like I feel like it's just like it comes down to, let me brush my teeth and I'll be back. Brush my teeth before I talk some shit. At this point in the book, Hunt worships Bryce, but not in a good way. Like you want a man that worships you, but like I feel like Bryce is like literally acts like she's his like god, and then I don't know, it's very odd. And then like they're on these little side quests. Like she's like, oh, now I have to go to the library of Avalon to like figure out what's going on there, and I'm like, okay. But then like there's this side quest of Therion marrying Flynn's sister, and like I'm like, did this girl even come up in the book and the other ones? Like what is the purpose of this? Like where are we going with this, you know? And then also the whole Ethan subplot where like he now raised the old alpha, the Fender alpha, to like, you know, be a freaking Reaper? Like what? And then like now we know what Jessica is, and like it's obviously important to the plot, and like we have the context for it. But I don't know, I think that like, and like I know I said at the beginning that I like shipped Bryce with Azriel. I like objectively knew that she wasn't gonna end up with him, just because like Sarah J Maas has made it her mission to be like, no, Hunt and Bryce are mates. I think we could have explored that more. But just like in general, I think that we could have explored Prythian more. Like why even bring her all the way to another fucking world if you were gonna have her come back within 5 seconds? And also like it seems like there's no stopping her from coming back, because she traveled with just the horn. Like she didn't need the harp or any of the other gadgets, goo gizmos. So I don't know. I have a lot of questions. Hopefully today I finish the rest. I'm missing literally half of the book. The book is 101 chapters. So yeah, I also don't regret having it on Kindle. So yeah, because it's just so much easier to read in. And also it's driving me crazy, like the whole like frat speak. I think Bryce is driving me crazy. Like, even though she's technically not like this bimbo party girl, she talks like a bimbo party girl, but also in like the completely wrong settings. I feel like this book is just like her using any opportunity to make some quip about something. like having the last word. I don't like it. And then also they kind of acknowledge that she's like secretly scheming behind in the background. But I'm like, you haven't like okay, you understand that you shouldn't be doing that as the main character, right? It's the main character of my book and my entertainment. Do you understand that you shouldn't be doing that? But anyways, let me go finish getting ready and get to work. I just like needed to update kind of like my thoughts. And like, you know, I like was scared. I was scared that this was gonna happen. I feel like the second book I also had a very similar feeling where I was just like, but unfortunately it's happening again. I'm hoping that the shit gets better and like Sarah can wrap this all up, but if not, like, will I continue the series? I don't know. I think like something big has to happen. I think like I want to see Bryce back in Prithian. Like this was ridiculous. How short and like how not all that was for her to get like the information of like what happened a couple thousand years ago, nothing else. And that really annoys me because it's like when they make a meeting instead of just sending a memo. That's how I felt. Like you guys couldn't have just found a book to tell us. You guys had to like drag Nesta and Azriel into this. And also like we have the dust court that is completely like nothing's happening there, you know? Okay, I have to get ready. Before I go into work, I just need to like summarize what I feel. I feel like I like the story building so far, but I'm not obsessed with the characters and I haven't been obsessed with the characters in a long time. And like even people that was obsessed with like Ruin, I'm just like meh. And I think that's like where this book is failing me in comparison to the other Sarah J Maas books, because the other Sarah J Maas books, I love the characters first, the story second. And in this one, it's like the story is really interesting, the world building is really interesting, especially because it builds on the worlds that I already know and love. But like the characters themselves right now, I'm just not vibing with at all. Like I just think they're being absolutely belligerent. And like it's not that they should be taking themselves too serious, because I do think that there's a time and place for them to be goofy and making a bunch of quips and stuff. But when like you're talking to like, you know, another person trying to get something you want out of them, like I'm so tired of how Bryce is like, yeah, no, I'm the star-born queen. I can do whatever I want. And it's just like, I don't feel like that swagger's earned. I'm gonna be honest. It's like, and I'm not gonna start comparing, but I'm gonna start comparing. Like when you compare it to Aelin Galathynius, which I think that's what like Sarah J Maas was trying to do. Aelin Galathynius deserved her swagger. Like she was like literally raised up in like a tortured environment, like as an assassin, like that. And I'm not to say like for you to have swagger, you have to be tortured, but like she got her chops as a leader prior to her like just like assuming the role of leader. And I think that's where the difference lies. Like I feel like Bryce is just like, yeah, I'm the leader because I make secret plans when no one's watching, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, and I have to get to work. But I didn't want to say it because I was like trying to figure out like what about this book isn't working for me. And it's like honestly at this point it's just Bryce. That's why I like her kind of in Prithian a bit more, because like she was more like con mesura, like in Spanish you'd say, like she was more measured, she was more controlled. And then like now she's back with like her pack and they're like being absolutely insane in a bad way. Unhinged, I would say. That's the word that I'm looking for. But anyways, gotta get to work. Hello. So I just got home. My Uber Eats is on its way up. I finally got my copy of the Walmart edition. I hope to God it is the exclusive edition, or else there will be riots here. Let me open it and make a bunch of noise. So this is going to be the edition I keep. I'm going to return the Amazon edition because I don't need 2 editions of this book. We don't need that. Ta-da! This should be the exclusive edition. This is the Walmart exclusive edition. I just got it. This is the one I'm keeping. It's really pretty. I love the gilded. I think they did the artwork on this is phenomenal, if I'm gonna be honest, with the secret chapter, because definitely something I'm feeling is that I feel like I should have been in Prithian more time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I will say, so after the 50% mark, so I started the day off at the 50% mark. I had some breaks during the day and I did read a bit. I have loved the scenes with Rune and Lydia, and I have enjoyed that they're all kind of together, because I think the head jumping can be a little much in this series compared to her other series. I think like in every literal chapter she's going and like in a new place, in a new head, all that sort of thing. And that can be a bit much, but I feel like since they're all in the same place, it doesn't jar me as much. I absolutely love Rune and Lydia's chemistry and like their relationship journey. I will say Bryce is not my favorite. After the first book, Bryce was my favorite Sarah J Maas heroine, but then once I finished Throne of Glass, I was like, Aelin is supreme. Even then, like after that, it's Nesta. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I was like thinking about it during work, and like the thing is that I like the plot of the book. I just don't love sometimes the characters of the book. Does that make sense? And I think that's what's holding me back from like loving the book, but I keep reading it because the plot has me going, you know? I love how they keep calling Bryce out for making plans and not telling everyone. That's like a trope that she has in all her books. All of the main characters, I'm gonna take this off, all the main characters in Sarah J Maas's books, all of them like do things and tell no one. And they're doing them off page. So you're like, what the fuck? I got to the part, now we're going to, again, some spoilers. Love the fact that Bryce finally like was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a better Fae queen for my people and be a better example and be a better leader. And like she used the fact that like Nesta and Azriel like were good Fae, that like she felt like it was worth it. And then also the people that she loves are also good Fae, and like there are good Fae out there, and like she can restore the Fae to what they could be, not what they are, and kind of like get rid of the rot that has festered in the Fae due to the Asteri. I've liked that. The whole thing with like the Asphodel Meadows being bombed, crazy. Definitely a plot to get Bryce out there once she hears about it, like for sure. And the Lydia plot twist and like hearing her backstory, I really think Lydia in this book is my favorite. I like having at least one other female POV, and I think her story is like super motivating. Not motivating, but it's like very heartfelt. Like it not warms my heart either, because it's tragic. Like it kills me, but also in a good way, you know? And I like how she's just like very three-dimensional. Like she's done bad things and she's had to live with them, and I enjoy that. And I also liked how Bryce and Hunt were like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like you're either with me or you're not with me, but like, I don't know. Their relationship has no appeal to me. Like I'm honest, no appeal to me at this point. Like I'm like, whatever, I don't fucking care. Unpopular opinion, I know. And then the last thing was the reveal of Hunt's dad. I guess that from the first book, I feel like it was a very obvious choice, you know? Like, not the powers thing. I was just like, yeah, his dad is definitely a Prince of Hell. Like, no doubts about it. It definitely wasn't Ada's. I, like, thought it was Apulian. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna finish. I'm on page 573 of 838. Chapter 64, 69% through the book. So I'm assuming that the next couple of chapters are quite fast paced, and my dinner is at the door. So we're gonna get to that. Are we like watching like the birth of democracy in this book? Like, is that what we're watching? Or reading, I guess? I think so. Do you see that book like really weirdly standing up there? I need to clean. If you're my mom, don't watch this video. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no idea what Bryce has done to inspire these people to follow her like this. Like I can't. Like I don't get it. I'm tired of the quips. I think that's like in this book, I think that's what's getting to me. The quips are quipping too much. They're talking about something serious and they have to make like some sort of snarky comment of like, oh, go get you the mop and bucket. Okay, Sarah J Maas, you're trying to be funny, but you're coming out corny. I'm a hater, apparently. Like, I don't hate the book. I like where it's going. I just like don't like the main characters. Listen, there are two options. Ethan Hallstrom and Therion Kratos will choose the stupidest option every single time. Not sometimes. Every single time a thought process through their head, they should rethink it and not do it. Like if you had to ask them for advice, you ask them so you know exactly what not to do. Because if there is a bad option, they will make it. They will be the kings of misguided decisions. Like, what are you doing? Oh my god, I'm in the part where Ethan has taken like the antidote for the parasite and he's like, oh, I need to now go tell the wolves that they have an option that's not Danica, that is this Reaper wolf that I actually created because I freaking killed her, so I felt guilty about it, and I have to tell them and then show them my magic and show them that Danica also thought the thing. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, do you not realize that like you can now just be the alpha? I'm the alpha, I'm the leader, that sort of thing. By the way, this is in chapter 71, 75% through the book. It says I have 2 hours and 34 minutes left in the chapter. Why did like my iPhone say that I had so much less? Definitely not, okay? I'm on page 626 out of a lot. I did not see that one coming. Like her opening the Northern Rift and for Nesta to be on the other side. Like I really thought that Nesta was out of this book for sure. For sure. Now I must keep watching and reading. Like, see, watching because like I see it in my brain, you know? Am I the only one that happens to? Because that's how I read. Like I see it happening in my brain. This vlog is truly getting me in all my glory. I'm fresh out of the shower, 84% through the book. I have to admit, I did not see Bryce throwing her parents into the Prithian world at all. Like that didn't cross my mind at all, to be honest. Like I didn't see the Underking. I don't know what he is. I think he's a Volg. I can't tell what he is. Like spoilers, I guess, for Throne of Glass universe, but it seems like he's the Volg. I also thought he might be like the princess of the Volg. I really don't know. But like the whole word and stuff, I'm like, I'm on page 702, 84% through the book. But I needed to lie down already because I was tired. I wanted to shower as well because like the hospital is a very dirty place to be. I'm gonna have to like sanitize my sofa later. And yeah, let's get to reading. Ew, I just read like the nastiest dirty talk I've ever read and I want to die. I just read the nastiest dirty talk that like I've ever seen in one of these books and I actually want to combust. Like why do they have to ruin the moment for me? I'll read it to you because it was so disturbing. It says, she rubbed her thighs together, desperate for any friction, especially as his impressive length sprang free and... Commando? Bryce said, choking. Hunt smirked. All of the underwear they gave me on the depth charger was too small for this. He palmed himself, pumping, and she groaned at the sight. Ugh. What was disgusting about this was that he said that. Ew. Lady boner gone. Like, ew. It like totally zaps you out of the story. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm disgusted. I finished the book. I don't know what to think right now. I feel like really empty inside because I binged that book so hard. I don't have an opinion yet. I'll check back with you in a couple days when I have processed it. I think that the ending was as good as we were gonna get. And like, that's not to sound dismissive, you know? Door shut, nothing to see here. They left it open for the Akatar books by giving Nesta the Starborn sword and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it's like colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado. I felt like the plot was enjoyable, but I did have my moments where I was just like, ugh. And I think that if something is like a romance book, I want to root for the main characters to end up together. I don't feel that way. I think that they got what they deserved, which was each other. But I think it's because I didn't love either of the main characters that much by the end of the book. And I don't think it's anything that they personally did. Obviously, I don't know these I'm talking about them like they're real people. But like, I just feel, was it deserved? I can't get to that. The answer to that question escapes me. I don't know, I just feel like Hunt didn't have any of his own agency. Does that make sense? Like he just like was like, I am in love. Like his personality trait by the end of this was like, Bryce is my mate. And Bryce's was like, I am queen of democracy. Which is like a great trait to have in the real world. But like in a fantasy book, like was it really that necessary to like, you know, eliminate the monarchy? These are questions I have. It has been 3-ish days since I finished this book. I say 3-ish because I did read the bonus chapter in this one in particular the day after I finished, so Thursday. I read this book in around 32 hours, so I do have thoughts. It does feel like a blur. I definitely think that eventually I will reread it when I get to the point that I want to reread it. This is also my Walmart copy. I still haven't taken off the sticker because I'm too scared to take off the sticker. This is the one with the Bryce, Nesta, and Azriel chapter, so there's that. I wanted to give my thoughts after I kind of like thought through everything that happened in this book and give my final rating. So my final rating for this book was a 3.75. Why 7.5? I don't know. Probably because of Lydia. I love Lydia. But I had problems with this book, and if you watched the entire vlog, you would have seen me kind of venting about the problems I had with this book and what kept it from being an amazing book for me. And I think that this book will hit differently if you've read more of Sarah J Maas's books in general. So if you've read the Akatar series and the Throne of Glass series, which you should if you're reading this book, you'll understand me a bit. So one, I feel like we did not get enough time in Bryce's head. I would say that the only book that we really got, Bryce is the main character, was that first book. After that, then we were jumping around in POVs constantly. And because of that, because I wasn't in her head, because I wasn't seeing her growth and her changing and her becoming the supposed great leader, which that for me was the hardest sell. Why were these people like all like rallying behind her? Why did she seem to them like she was such a great leader? For me, that was just like, I could not suspend my disbelief with that because I didn't see it. And also she was so snarky, like in a bad way. And I like my snarky heroines. I love Aelin. I love Nesta. Nesta's a raging bitch. But I just couldn't get behind her. And I honestly, like, reading this book, I was like, I'm surprised that the Hind isn't the one people are getting behind, because I felt like the Hind, Lydia, was much more convincing as a lead, much more convincing as a leader. Now jumping into like the story itself. At first I was disappointed that we were in Prythian for only 300 pages. The issue is, let me tell you, the issue is, like, yes, it was 300 pages, but it was 300 pages in a cave, and then 100 of those pages were just world building because they were like watching some projector, and it was so annoying to have Bryce like fighting with the projector, flipping off the projector. It gave me the vibe of, I was talking to a friend about it, like it gave me a vibe of like this could have been a memo, this could have been just some random book she found in Joseba's library. Like it did not have to be this like annoying thing. Also, like, why didn't she just ask Joseba? Now that I think about it, I don't think I'm saying her name right, but yeah, she was around during all of this, so she would know the stories and everything like that. So, I don't know. This is editing Nikki, and I have to also mention the fact that, like, Joseba tells, again, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she tells Ethan about this, like, after he's working for her for, like, what? Like, 2 days? So you're telling me that, like, even though she loved Bryce so much and loved her as an assistant, at least, maybe not, like, actually, like, she never told any of this to Bryce? Like, that's suspicious. That for me was just frustrating because I thought we would get to see more of Prythian and more of Bryce interacting with these characters, and that just wasn't it. And it didn't have to be in ACOTAR 7 or 6 or whatever book we're on right now of ACOTAR, but it did, I feel like we were stolen from us, and definitely the fans like kind of built it up a lot throughout the year. Oh my god, like imagine when Aelin or like Nesta or Cassian find guns, they're gonna go ballistic, pun unintended. For me, that was like meh. The elephant in the room is that like me and like I don't love the pairing of Bryce and Hunt. They're not my favorite. Every time they had like an intimate scene, like it was cringy. I did not like that at all. Like I don't like how they talk to each other. It felt like a frat sort of guy. Oh, I did not like that at all. And then Bryce, I was, oh. Thank God we only got like 2 or 3 scenes. But I was like, oh. It was like in the last book when they had that scene in like the gym. I was like, oh. That's how I felt during their sex scenes. And because of that, I don't know, like I really love them in the first book. I love their dynamic and everything. I just didn't like how in this book and in the previous one, it didn't feel like they were equals at all. Like it felt like Hunt was very much like her bitch. And obviously like he should like be like taking care of her, saying sorry, having those healthy schemas in his brain to have a relationship. The issue that I didn't like was that it didn't feel equal. It just felt like Hunt was going along with whatever she wanted. Bryce always won in the end when it come to her decisions and what she wanted to do. And I get that Hunt's arc was like coming to terms with what he is, who he is, and all that sort of thing. So I originally thought that this was like the last that we were going to see of Crescent City, like we were never going to be back in this universe again. But then I saw that in one of the interviews, Sarah J Maas has like a book planned back in this universe, and I don't know who I care enough about to follow in this universe. I'm being honest with you. Like everyone seems like they got their happy ending, and yeah, like overall the ending was very satisfying. I think that it wrapped up a lot of the things nicely. I definitely think when Sarah J Maas in that interview was like, it's like I don't have like a series Bible, it's all in my head just stewing there. And I was like, yeah, we know, because it seems like you like put out like little wisps of things and a year later like, oh yeah, like let's bring this up again. Like 50 books later, but you forgot that was there in the beginning. Because like, for example, Ariadne the dragon, like what was she useful? She wasn't there in that final battle. Like, she disappeared. That was a side note. But anyways, overall, 3.75. 1 star for Azra, 1 star for Nesta, 1 star for Lydia, and 0.75 for Rune. You know what? Let's round it up to 4 and put that hand scene that was super gory and disgusting a 0.25. I like that scene a lot. I thought it was barbaric. Oh wait! Before I finish, another thing that annoyed the shit out of me was how fast the novel came back. And like when I was reading the book, it literally says like a week ago, like in the final battle where she's facing Regulus, she's like, a week ago, I would have been terrified. This isn't the same Bryce from a week ago. Like she was literally in Prithian for like 5 days. Like what? Like it just made also the end of the last book feel so like yeah, they were tortured for a couple of days. Yeah, she was in another place for a couple of days, but it wasn't like she like struggled to get back. It wasn't like she had to like climb this like huge mountain or go to another court to figure out how to get back. I've thought constantly since the second book, this series should have been a 4-book series, and like the second one should have just been her going to Prithian, the third one her coming back from Prithian, like that journey, and then the last one her kind of coming together and like saving the world or whatever. And I think that would have given one the sort of background that she needed to really like rule a country or whatever. I think it would have been a much neater story instead of having like really weird jumps in POV and all of this weird stuff happening all at the same time. So anyways, with that was messy. This vlog was messy. You kind of got like my thoughts like on the fly. I don't know what book I'm excited for in the future because the next Sarah J Maas book has not been announced yet. I still haven't read Iron Flame, so that's coming down the pipeline. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!